Stay dandy, baby. Throughout Goku's journey to be the greatest warrior in the entire universe, he's battled against demons, aliens, and androids. But now he faces the greatest threat to Universe 7, and it's all a part of this balanced breakfast. That's right, the next big character in the Dragon Ball universe is none other than Granolah. He was teased in the last chapter of Dragon Ball Super, but this one dives in a little bit into who he is, what his backstory is, and the fact that he's actually belonging to a brand new group of alien creatures, which are basically known as the Cerealians. The Cereal Aliens. I don't know. Basically, the entire theme is that he and his entire species are named after different brands of cereal. Follow your nose, go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. It's the taste you can see. Like I said, it's really not all that strange. I mentioned before that the Ginyu Force is basically named after all of dairy products, so it's not that strange to have a brand new character whose entire, at least, naming theme goes around the fact that everything on his planet involves cereal. Look, we could sit here all day and talk about the ridiculous name of Granola and his people, but the fact of the matter is he belongs to a brand new race of aliens, which I really love. Everybody had the theory that maybe he was a fallen angel, a lost Saiyan, or maybe even a Tuffle, but the fact that he belongs to a brand new group of alien species that we've never seen before, which is directly tied to Frieza and the Saiyans, I think is actually kind of cool. That being said, there's a lot to talk about in this chapter, so let's go ahead and break down some of the biggest parts. First and foremost, if you're expecting a lot of Goku and Vegeta in this chapter, believe it or not, you're not actually going to get it. Most of this chapter is focusing on the character of Granolah, and I have to say, it's actually kind of refreshing. Don't get me wrong, Goku and Vegeta training is always really awesome to see, but basically it's just more of the same, but also establishing that while Ultra Instinct is essentially Goku's next superpowered form, it's actually not the end of his training at all. They were really building this up to be like the ultimate end-all, be-all, godlike technique, but according to Whis, no, Goku is just getting started with his training, again just establishing that Goku is going to get even more ridiculously strong as the series goes on, and if you find that hard to believe, well, I guess you're just not a hardcore Dragon Ball fan. This is the par for the course for the series. There's always a brand new ceiling for Goku and his friends to crash through, and basically they just built another one. But we do get a nice training sequence with him and Whis, which is awesome. It actually opens up with them desperately trying to catch the Oracle Fish because he's having a bad case of insomnia, and according to Whis, this is like a bad omen. Bad things are actually going to go down thanks to what's going on with the Oracle Fish, and this could be directly tied to everything that's going on with Granolah. More on that later. But basically, Goku battles against Whis using his Ultra Instinct technique, and he actually utilizes straight up shadow clones, or doppelganger clones, which isn't the first time we've seen it in Dragon Ball, but it's really cool here, and I really love the overall visual of it. Of course, Whis sees right through this and just ends up whooping his ass anyway, again, just letting him know that there are bigger fish in the universe, even establishing that the angels themselves inherently use the Ultra Instinct technique, and even the Grand Priest's use of it is on an entirely different level. Again, re-establishing Goku has a long way to go. Vegeta just kind of watches angrily as he usually does, saying that he's gonna surpass Kakarot in his own way, and that's pretty standard for Vegeta. But Beerus lets him know that there's actually more to Ultra Instinct, and there's actually more techniques that the Gods of Destruction actually use, basically piquing Vegeta's interest and basically telling him, hey, there's all these cool new techniques that you could learn. I'm not gonna teach you, but maybe you could steal your way to an answer. I'm not quite sure what this means at all, but I really do love that Beerus is actually trying to help out Vegeta here and give him something a little different, aside from just saying, hey, if you want to be like Goku, you're gonna have to learn Ultra Instinct. But aside from that, the rest of the chapter completely follows everything that's going on with the character of Granolah, who again, like I said, is from this planet known as Planet Cereal. And we get this flashback sequence at the very beginning of the chapter where apparently his people and their planet were ravaged by the Saiyans and Frieza, and because of that, he really has it out for both of them. But he knows that basically the entire planet Vegeta was destroyed by Frieza, and supposedly Frieza is gone. So he's been robbed of his revenge. However, he's delivering 7-3 to a brand new client, a brand new group of, I'm going to call them the next major villains of the series, these space pirate type characters. And they're led by a man who goes by the name of Alec, and he has all of these other followers who go by the names of like Gas and Oil and Maki. And essentially this guy wants to take 7-3 to get a little bit of information from him so that he can find that one mysterious monk, Zuno, to learn a little bit more about the mysterious intel of the universe. That and that he really wants Frieza out of the way. But this entire scene is really important for a number of reasons. Because one, they've been building up the fact that Granolah is a really powerful character. He might even be the one that the Oracle Fish speaks of at the very end of this chapter, the strongest in Universe 7. This is a pretty big freaking deal. However, one of Elek's henchmen basically is able to put him down, and according to Elek, this guy's really freaking powerful. There's no way that Granolah could actually surpass him, and considering the way that he actually flips him down and defeats him in this chapter, yeah, I'm actually willing to believe this as well. But there's definitely a lot more going on with Granolah. We get to see that more towards the end of the chapter. But essentially, Elek is sort of like trying to piss off Granolah, letting him know that Frieza is still around, but also telling him you shouldn't go after him yet. Real bad things could go down. Although he actually is telling them this intentionally, hoping that maybe he will go see Frieza so that Frieza could just take him out and basically get rid of the thorn in his frickin' ass. Basically, I like the buildup of these characters, these space pirate-esque characters. Is anybody getting, like, BoJack vibes from these characters? They remind me a lot of those that we saw from the BoJack film, and I'm not talking about the horse. Although seeing BoJack Horseman in the Dragon Ball universe would be really fun, he'd defeat everyone with the power of alcoholism and depression. But as Granolah is leaving Elek's place, he's followed by this one alien who desperately wants to take his bounty money away from him, which is a really bad idea because he leads them to this mysterious planet where he ends up tricking him. And originally I thought that Granolah was maybe missing an eye or something. Apparently this like scouter type thing that he's wearing on his eye is actually concealing his secret ability, which basically allows him to snipe people with extreme precision. Apparently his alien race had these special right eyes, which allow them to basically be expert marksmen, which is really cool and goes in line with his ability to shoot like finger beams and all this other stuff. This combined with the end of the chapter where the Oracle Fish, while he is sleeping, is starting to realize that someone new is about to arise. Someone incredibly powerful in the universe. Could it be Granolah? Could it be Elek? Could it be another character who hasn't even appeared in this arc quite yet? There's so many questions and things that could potentially happen here, although I have to say, I'm really excited to see where this actual story is going. It's doing something a little different than the previous arcs of the series, and by focusing on these brand new characters and putting a lot more emphasis on them, it definitely gives this arc a completely different feel. It's also really cool just to dive a little bit more into the lore and the expansive universe of Dragon Ball, seeing what's going on in space with all these other various different like species and everything. But still, the sky is the limit for the current arc of the series, and I cannot wait to see where it's going. So what's the rundown on the latest chapter of Dragon Ball Super? There are so many details in this chapter here that are really remarkable. I think my favorite things about it though are all the scenes with Granolah, especially those flashback sequences of watching his planet get ravaged by the Saiyans. Clearly this is pre-Frieza destroying the planet and everything, so Granolah's been around for a very long time, but he looks remarkably young. I mean, you could chalk it up to the fact that his cereal alien people apparently don't age at a different rate. Maybe they are similar to Saiyans in that sense. We don't really know how the laws of that work, but the fact of the matter is this guy's been around for a very, very long time, and I'm really anxious to see him sort of get his revenge. And I love the fact that they're incorporating Frieza and the Saiyans into this arc as well, again bringing in some of those classic elements of Dragon Ball, which for hardcore fans of the series is going to make them feel more comfortable. And of course, it's really great that Frieza has returned in the series to take on a more active role. I can't wait to see what he's actually going to do in this arc, and if there is the potential for Granolah to actually get his revenge against Frieza. I mean, how crazy would that be if he got strong enough to the point where he could defeat Golden Frieza? I'd like to think that maybe Frieza's been doing some other training here. I'd like to see like a big battle between these characters. Maybe they can incorporate Broly back into the story in some senses. There's so much promise here for what the future of this arc can actually bring, and it's still hard to tell if Granolah is going to end up being a friend or a foe. Of course, I see him being very antagonistic towards Goku and all of his friends initially, but that's sort of the part of the course for Dragon Ball, where they introduce a villainous type character who eventually becomes like a begrudging ally of Goku and his friends, and then eventually straight up good friends. I mean, Frieza is still an intergalactic overlord of death, but he's definitely been toned down a lot from what he was when he was first introduced in the series. And I'm not saying that Frieza is good by any stretch of the means. He's still conquering planets like a freaking barbarian, but still, I'd like to see what this whole Granolah thing is actually going to do and how him meeting up with Alec and all of his people are actually going to end up being kind of important as well. I don't know if I see them as a massive threat quite yet. And again, you have to kind of, throw your suspension of disbelief out the window when you're reading like a brand new arc of Dragon Ball, because you have to just accept that whenever a new arc begins, there's a bigger fish out there. There's always someone who's a little stronger, a little more threatening. That's just the way it is. The universe is a very, very big place. But still, it is what it is. All I know is I'm excited here. I love the creativity. I love the new character and how it ties into some of the bigger events in the Dragon Ball lore and history of the world. I just want to see more. I just cannot wait for a lot of these things to be revealed, and I can't wait to see all of these storylines as they connect with one another and what they're actually going to bring to the future of the show. So there it is. That's my thoughts on the current chapter. I thought it looked really good reading it, the artwork and everything, especially that opening scene with watching Granola's planet get ravaged. I thought was just really cool with all the giant ape Saiyans destroying everything, King Kong style. I really love the look of that. I love all the distinctive alien designs that we're seeing in the show. Again, a lot of them are very just classic Akira Toriyama in terms of their design, especially Alec and all of his people. They look like characters that I've seen 1,000 times before in not only Dragon Ball, but even stuff like Dragon Warrior. But I can't wait to see what they're actually going to do aside from standing around and looking really cool. And as for the Oracle Fish and what his deal is with the strongest warrior in the universe, that remains to be seen. It's just kind of confusing and cryptic, and intentionally so. It's a hook to get us to keep reading. And we're all going to be there next month to see what's going to be happening next in Dragon Ball Super. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen. There's so much more potential for story and amazing fighting and training. The confirmation that Goku and his friends are just going to get stronger. Again, not really all that surprising. It's just what happens in Dragon Ball. And it shows that Goku has so much more to learn despite the fact that he has completely dominated people with the power of his Ultra Instinct. The fact that there's more that he can potentially do is really exciting as a fan of Dragon Ball, as that's always been the hallmark of watching Goku get stronger and stronger and attaining brand new forms. But we'll have to wait and see it. So there it is, my thoughts on the chapter. I loved it. It was a 5 out of 5 for me. But you heard my thoughts on the chapter. I want to hear yours. Make sure to tell me what you thought about the latest chapter of Dragon Ball Super, Granola's backstory, what his overall plan is going to be to try and stop Frieza and the other Saiyans, the introduction of Alec and all of his cronies. What do you hope to see from the latest arc of Dragon Ball Super? Let's discuss that and this chapter in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. Please subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this one. If you did like this video, use your sniping finger beams to hit that like button. Helps out these videos a lot and ensures more people can actually see my content. I also want to take this time to thank all of my patrons. You guys are awesome because you actually go the extra mile to not only watch my videos and comment on them and like them, but you give me these monthly donations, and I cannot thank you enough for that. Remember, first-time donators, I will review an anime series of your choice, as well as adding your name to this list of super badass people, the producers of Ace Guru. So thank you guys so much for watching this review. I'll see you all next time, and as always, stay down there, baby.